Mesdames et Messieurs, and of course we can't forget the Les Enfants. Here we go again. We are back together. English Addict is with you once more, live from the birthplace of the English language, which just happens to be England. We are back together again. We are back together again. We are back. They said it would never happen, but we are back. I don't know why I'm making such a fuss of that, but we are back. Don't forget, also, can you please give us a lovely like at the very start of the live stream? Please click like, and then YouTube will be ever so nice to us. They won't come round and throw stones at my windows anymore. Here we go then. Hi everybody. This is Mr. Duncan. I don't know what happened then. Something very strange happened then. Did you see that? Anyway, as I was saying, this is Mr. Duncan and he is Mr. Steve, everyone.
Hello, welcome. And it's wonderful to be here with all you lovely friends across the world who want to learn some English.
Yes, and that's why we're here, you see, to teach English, to talk about English, and of course the most important thing of all is to have some fun.
We'll have some fun.
We will have some fun. There will be some smiles from Mr. Steve. There might be some laughter from me. And hopefully you will enjoy all of this as well. I'm an English addict. Mr. Steve likes English. He needs English very much because in his job he has to speak quite often to other people in English. So he needs to have a very high level of English. And I hope your English will be improving as well. Don't forget, please give us a like. This is it, the last time I'm mentioning likes. Just one more time.
Well, we can always mention it later when there's more people on.
Oh.
Because they need to be reminded, definitely.
Ooh.
Yes, because this helps Mr. Duncan. We keep saying it, but just in case you don't know, this helps Mr. Duncan's videos to be seen across the world. Without the likes, it disappears into a black hole.
Yes.
So, yes, the more likes, the better. Thank you.
You know when you flush the toilet and the toilet goes round and round, the water inside goes round and round. Well, imagine I am the thing that's being flushed away.
And if
that's what YouTube does.
Oh, okay, Mr. Right, and if you're wondering, well, I'd want to hang on for a bit first to see if it is any good before I like it. Then, just like it anyway. You can always unlike.
Just take it from us.
It'll be good.
This'll be good.
It'll be good. Just like.
I think today's live stream is going to be the best one ever. I think so.
That's a bit of pressure there, Mr. Duncan.
It's a lot of pressure. So we've got to really do a good one now. It's got to be really good. Welcome to autumn, by the way. It's very, very autumn-like outside. I have to say the weather is rather nice. We have... Well, most of the leaves have actually fallen off the trees now, so we are well into autumn. This week we had our first frost.
We did.
We woke up and everything was frosty as the temperature disappeared below 0 Celsius.
For the first time, which is unusual because we are nearly into December. And we've only just had our first frost of the winter, which is very, very unusual. I've got some plants outside still flowering that normally would stop flowering in probably October, but they're still going now. And it's, what's that one I've got outside, that one that I keep growing?
I don't know,
from
Steve.
That friend Andy of mine in the court. I keep forgetting the name of it.
Dahlia.
The dahlia. That is still flowering. Can you believe it? I've got to bring it in, though. It was one of the jobs I had on my list for today, which I didn't have time to do before coming onto the live stream.
Okay, I did say that this was going to be our best one ever. I am excited, Mr. Steve.
Yes.
I am ever so excited
Why?
Do you know why? Because December is just around the corner. We are just under 30 days away from Christmas. And I noticed in Much Wenlock, they are already getting in the mood because Christmas will be on its way. And of course, I hope we will all get the chance to celebrate together. As if we needed reminding, Christmas is coming as December approaches and everything is looking rather festive. Already it started. So a lot of people, I noticed the other night, we were driving around the other night and we noticed a lot of people have already put their Christmas lights up outside their houses, and also their Christmas trees are also up in the house. We haven't done it yet.
We won't be doing it for a while. By the way, there's something else to celebrate, Mr. Duncan.
Yes.
Concerning a regular loyal viewer of ours.
Who is that?
A certain man from Brazil, Pedro,
yes,
is a free man.
Pedro Belmont.
Yes.
Is free.
He's free, yes.
What does
no
that...
evidence, thrown out of court. So, well done. Well done, Pedro.
You know what I love about...
live to fight another day.
You know what I love about this live stream? What I love about doing this is there are so many different people watching all around the world with lots of different life stories.
Yes.
Lots of different backgrounds. Some drama. Sometimes there is drama as well.
And we think it's great that you share these things with us and everybody else, because a lot of people wouldn't. They would try and keep that to themselves. But, I mean, we do give away a lot about our personal lives.
Sometimes too much.
Yeah, so thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that with us. I'm having that pen back, Mr. Duncan. I promise not to play with it. Mr. Duncan doesn't like me playing with the pen. You see. I get nervous and I play with the pen.
So what are you talking about, Steve?
So that's it. Yes. No, I was just saying congratulations to Pedro.
That's it. Pedro Belmont is a free man. Once again, completely free, 100%. Everything has now been cleared up. His name is once again good and pure.
Yes. Just, make sure it doesn't happen again.
Well, it doesn't matter, does it? If you're innocent, it doesn't matter.
We can't afford to lose one viewer on this channel.
No. So,
mind you could watch from behind bars.
I'm not sure. Well, I would imagine, now I'm just guessing, I would imagine the prisons in Brazil are pretty tough.
I bet. I
would imagine. So I doubt you would get any access to the internet. Not like here in the UK. Our prisons are like holiday camps. You go into prison and the first thing they do is they give you a cell and they give you everything you want inside. You have a TV, you have the internet. It's a bit like going to a holiday camp here in the UK when you go to prison.
Yes, so, but anyway, yes, there we go. Well done. Well done. No evidence. So is a free man. So that's good to know.
Good. I'm very glad to hear that Pedro Belmont, or should I say Pedro Belmont, is a free man.
Yes.
Again. Once more. Who is first on today's live chat?
Guess. Have a guess.
Hello. Who was first? I can see that we have Vitas. Congratulations, Vitas. You are first on today's live chat.
You would also get a prize for the person who is most often first on the live stream. I think if there was a prize for that, I think you would quite clearly get that. Although right hot on your heels, as we say, hot on your heels, coming up very quickly behind, or at the same time, was Beatrice, and Lewis, and Valentin, and Charlotte Mosen as well. Beatrice has had a busy weekend.
Oh, Beatrice.
Very busy weekend.
What has Beatrice been doing?
Well, Beatrice has been attending the wedding of her younger brother.
Oh, okay. Then congratulations to your younger brother on his wedding day.
Yes, and I think probably Beatrice was up very late last night, but she's still here today, probably hungover. I doubt it. No, I doubt that you are hungover, Beatrice. I don't mean to besmirch your name.
Okay.
But yeah, so we hope it was a lovely wedding. And
well, I suppose
please send us some photos.
Yes, please send us lots and lots of photographs. Maybe 100 if you could. We need 100 photographs of your wedding.
All right, just calm that down a bit, Mr.
Can we have 200? Can we have 200 photographs of your brother's wedding, and we will show them all next week. Definitely.
Diego sent a lovely message from you from Colombia, but now living in Poland.
Oh.
Thanks to Mr. Duncan's programmes, I've been improving my English.
Good.
So well done, Diego. Alejandro Molina Lara.
Oh, okay. That was. You did a very good job of that, by the way.
Diego is it Zandro? Is that the J pronounced as a Z? Oh. Alejandro Molina Lara.
Oh, see, you're
I've got to say, Molina Lara. Yes, it's got a lovely sort of lilty name.
Is it?
It sort of lilts. It sort of flows off the palate.
Okay, it's a bit like a dance.
It's yes. It's the same as
the sound dances off your tongue.
Yes.
Oh,
older brother. I thought it was Beatrice's younger brother.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, right. I missed that from one of the messages.
Yes, clearly.
But anyway, a brother.
Anyway, moving on. This week, we've had a busy week as well. Not just Beatrice. We've had a busy week. We were zooming around the country lanes of England, driving something that we don't often get to drive.
Yes.
This week we were driving around in something very large, something larger than Mr. Steve's car, and we had quite a lot of fun doing it. Would you like to see what happened when Mr. Steve and myself decided to go for a drive in our big white van? if you remember, we used to have Spot the White Van. Do you remember that? We used to have Spot the White Van when the road was behind us on the live view. And this week we were actually driving a white van, a huge vehicle. Mr. Steve, I have to say, can I just say, Steve, you were brilliant driving this huge vehicle. In fact, I have a feeling that you may have changed your mind about driving a large vehicle on the road, because the one thing I noticed is everyone moved out the way for us. So when you are driving something large, a large vehicle like a van, I certainly noticed during the week all of the traffic seems to move away. They part, and they were very courteous, very kind to us on the road.
I think they were intimidated. Yes, so yeah, it was a bit of a sad trip because we were going to pick up furniture from my mother's house because we have to clear the house.
Okay, Steve.
And we had to pick up some furniture, so we had to hire a van. Olga asks, do you need a special licence? You don't for a van up to a certain size. It's only if it becomes what's called an HGV, a heavy goods vehicle, that you need a special licence.
So over a certain size and weight, you have to have a
Yes.
special licence. But I have to say you were brilliant, even though coming back, we actually drove back in the dark. And because many of the roads were closed, because it was the rush hour, and there was traffic everywhere, basically, and we had to go through the country lanes in the dark.
It's a bit stressful.
It was amazing. It was quite exciting in a way. We were both excited and quite nervous, but we did it.
This van was only a year old, but it had about 20 dents all over it from previous. We hired it, obviously.
Yes.
It seemed quite posh because it was a Mercedes van, so you think that'd be. I didn't know it was going to be that, but it was covered in dents from where people had obviously hired the vehicle before us and had minor accidents.
Yes. What I loved, Steve, is the fact that when they bring the van to the house, they take photographs of the van just in case there are any extra dents that we put in, but we didn't. We didn't have any incidents, and it was actually quite good fun.
Came a bit close.
Yeah.
The only thing was it was a bit stressful to drive it because it had this a very annoying and loud rattle from behind the bulkhead somewhere. I don't know where it was.
Okay.
And it was very annoying, very stressful to drive it, particularly down these country lanes. I think we nearly had an accident, but we got away with it.
Did we? I don't remember
yes.
us nearly having an accident.
Well, I managed to stay calm. It was a manual. I haven't driven a manual car for years.
So the old gear stick.
The old-fashioned gears. It was good fun.
Yes.
But yes, it was, Olga. It was. We had to drive through the country lanes to avoid all the traffic that had built up on the way back. But anyway, we got back fine.
Yes, it was good. It was quite good fun though. Sometimes when you do these things, we were slightly worried, but once we got on the road, I have to say it was quite a lot of fun. Very, I would say. Oh, my voice is going again. It's a very macho thing to do.
Yes, so very macho.
You always think of the people driving white vans as being muscular and macho, and there we were driving around the lanes in this big white van. But it was good fun. It was good fun.
It was fun. Yes, a bit of fun. Although it wasn't fun moving furniture out of my mother's house.
No,
that wasn't fun. That was a bit upsetting. But then it's got to be done. So we had to do it.
That's it. Good. Okay. That's information that we probably didn't need to give, but
don't forget, anyone new that's just joined, please
give us a like and show that you care and you love us so much. That would be very nice. Today, by the way, we do have some things to talk about.
Good.
We are looking at an interesting word in a few moments. Also, we are talking about suffixes. A suffix. So when we talk about suffixes, we often talk about the secondary or the second part of a word, something that is added to the end of a word, quite often to change its meaning. So, of course, you can have a prefix, which is at the beginning of the word, and suffix, which comes at the end of a word. So we are looking at the use of some as an adjective. So by using that particular word, we can change certain words into adjectives. It is a fun way of using words to describe how something appears or its behaviour. So we're looking at that a little bit later on. A few people have asked, by the way, Mr. Duncan, you play something at the end of your live stream. It's a lot of puppets saying goodbye. What is that all about? Well, I will quickly explain. That thing that you see at the end is actually taken from a BBC children's programme called The Wooden Tops. It was made in the 1950s, 1955 to be honest. So that is what you see at the end of my live streams, all those little puppets saying goodbye, the Wooden Tops. It only lasted for 26 episodes, so it only ran for a few weeks. And but most people remember it of a certain age, so it was around a long time ago. But it only ran between 1955 and 1956, but a very popular children's programme during that time. So that is what it is. I'm glad I was able to answer that question, because sometimes these questions do need answering.
I'm being accused of being lazy, Mr. Duncan.
Why?
On the live stream, because I drive an automatic car.
Well, I think, but the thing is, no, I'm going to defend you, Mr. Steve.
Well, I was going to defend myself, but go ahead.
Well, I'm sure I can as well. Okay. But a lot of people do these days. I think a lot of people prefer automatic transmission on a car. So I don't think it's unusual these days to find cars that have automatic transmission, even though I think it can make you... I've always worried that it makes you too relaxed when you're driving the car. But these days, of course, a lot of cars have safety devices to stop you from falling asleep. But yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Well, I do actually prefer a manual car.
Oh.
I do actually like driving with a manual car, but because my job is sales and I spend all day, every day of the week in the car, it becomes very annoying. A manual gearbox becomes... actually, after a while, you get an aching leg where you're having to keep depressing the clutch. So because of that, I swapped to an automatic many years ago, probably about 15 or 20 years ago, and it does make driving in heavy traffic a lot easier for me. I'm sure Lewis probably might disagree, because I would imagine Lewis was driving taxis in all conditions for many years, probably with a manual. I don't know. Please let us know. But for me, I do actually prefer it because you have a bit more control. But it was just not out of laziness, but out of convenience.
Yes.
Just makes it easier when you're in the car all day to have that convenience.
And I think if you're driving long distances these days, especially if you go onto the highway or the motorway, and you might find that you don't need to keep changing gear anyway. So it's quite nice if you're just on a very straight road, a fast road, and you don't have to keep changing gear. There's no need to worry about that because it's not necessary.
But it
anyway.
is nice. It's nice to change gears. I do enjoy it. But I wouldn't like to do it all day, every day in my job.
If you've got a sports car.
Oh, definitely.
Now that is a very different situation. If you had a sports car, something with a lot of power, you've really got to make the most of it with that gearbox, I think. So I can understand that.
Definitely. The Mustang will definitely be manual. I would never get an automatic Mustang,
No.
assuming I ever get one, which probably won't happen.
It does seem strange that you would have an automatic sports car, because I think that's part of the
That's
fun.
the fun, yeah.
That's the fun. The changing the gear and feeling the engine suddenly pull you forwards and you are thrust into the back of your seat.
Yes, as Claudio mentions, not Claudia, Claudio. With electric cars, of course, you can't. They're only automatic. You can't get a manual electric car, as far as I'm aware. So you won't get any choice. So if you want a manual car, then I would say get one now, because when we're all forced into electric cars, which probably won't happen,
Okay.
then you won't have a choice in it.
I feel like we're heading into a subject we often end up talking about. We have an interesting word to look at. This is a word that is often used in British English. You might have heard it used here on the live stream. So here is today's interesting word. I think this is an interesting word. Anyway, the word is cushy.
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 This is often used in English, quite often in British English, if something is described as being cushy. It is an easy thing, something that is comfortable, undemanding, simple, or effortless. So we often use the word cushy when we are describing something that requires very little effort, very little work. Maybe if you have a job, maybe your job is cushy. We might say that your job is very easy, very cushy. He has a cushy job. I sometimes think that Mr. Steve's job sometimes is a little cushy, but not always, because he does have his moments. But I think the word cushy is quite a good one, and we do use it a lot. Quite often when we are maybe jealous of another person. You have such a cushy job.
Or you've got a cushy life you have. So that could be described as a man, maybe you've got a cushy life where somebody's looking after you all the time. Maybe your wife's cooking all your meals for you, doing all your washing. You don't have to do a lot. You've got a cushy life you have. Yes, it's almost implying laziness.
Yes.
In a way. It's almost implying you're a bit lazy. You've got a cushy life, but what it really means is that everything's just easy. You don't have to do a lot, or at least it appears you're not.
Yes, something requires very little effort, or maybe something is very easy to do, and of course it comes from the word cushion. So if something is soft and comfortable, so we often describe something that you lie on or sit on as comfortable, such as a cushion. So something that is cushy is something that is easy to do, and maybe something that you might be jealous of. So maybe you have a cushy life, as Mr. Steve said. Your cushy life is an easy life. Everything is done for you. Maybe you don't have to worry about the bills. Maybe someone else is doing it for you. Maybe they are paying for everything. You have a very cushy life.
Yes. Maybe it's just a bit too easy. But yes, it's usually used in a negative way, isn't it?
It is often when we are attacking someone for having an easy life. It's all right for you. It's all right for you sitting there in your cushy life.
Just watching the sport on Saturday afternoon.
Yes.
I'm doing all the housework, the cooking, the cleaning. You've got a cushy life you have.
See, the wife might say that.
Yeah.
The wife might get very angry.
These days it might be the other way around, of course.
Yes, of course.
Yes. But yes, learning from you is cushy, says Mustafa.
That's good.
Mustafa. So it's easy. So yeah, could you use that in that context?
I suppose you could, but quite often it's used negatively. So quite often we use it when a person is having an easy life. So maybe one person is looking at another person and they view that person as having too much comfort in their life. So we often use it as a kind of criticism, I suppose. So it's. I do like to bring up these interesting words,
and it's sometimes. I mean, it's very good to. Sometimes we can. It's easy to moan and complain about your life, isn't it? And but sometimes if you then watch a television program and you see what's happening in other countries, and you're moaning because of some what we call first world problems.
Okay.
Where maybe you go to the supermarket and they haven't got the exact bread you want, or they haven't got organic milk. Or something just very minor, and you get all moany and complainy.
Yes. So a sort of minor inconvenience.
Whereas if you lived in another country, you might not even be able to get milk, or you could be starving or something. So somebody looking in at your life might say, "What are you moaning about? You've got a cushy life.
Yes.
You've got a roof over your head, you've got clothes, you've got food, you've got plenty of money."
I think it is possible sometimes, Steve, to feel maybe guilty. I do. I'm going to be honest. I sometimes feel guilty that maybe our lives are quite easy to a certain degree, because we can buy things, we can go to the supermarket, we don't have to worry too much about those things. And I suppose sometimes I look at the news, especially the news. If you watch the news, you see terrible things happening around the world, and then you feel a little bit guilty. I know I do.
Puts your life into perspective. Sometimes you do need to be thankful for your life if it is good compared to somebody else's or somebody other. Part of it. Yes, normally we use cushy in a negative way. Yes, Sufi. Yes, we do.
Yes, quite often where we're criticising another person for having it too easy, and I think we do. Anyway, we've got to move on.
You could say about yourself. You could say to yourself, "I've got a cushy life," and that's not really negative. Because you might have organised your life and been so good at organising your life that you, in fact, everything is so well planned and organised that you don't really have any stress. So, it doesn't have to be negative. Somebody might turn around, so you've got a cushy life you have, but you might say, I've organised that, I've planned it, that's the way I've, you've been very good at organising your life to make it appear to be, fortunate. But let's move on.
That's it, we've got to move on. Now, this is something that's quite interesting. You might appear to have a very comfortable life, especially if you are in a relationship, and it's sometimes hard to appreciate or even understand that even in relationships, the two people involved in that relationship might not always see eye to eye. And I think this is interesting. So if you are close to another person, if you are in a relationship, and this of course can also be used with families as well. So maybe you don't always see eye to eye. This means to agree on things. And I think even with us, I would say that there are many things that we do not agree on. It doesn't necessarily mean that we go out into the street and have a fight about it. It's come very close to that sometimes, but it's never actually happened, you'll be pleased to hear. So there are things sometimes with politics or maybe a certain subject, even if you are with that person, you can find that there might be some differences. And there is a good example. We have one of our neighbours, and their relationship has been very difficult because one person has a strong view about leaving the European Union, which is what we did. We voted to do it in 2016, and the other person in the relationship wanted to stay. So one person wanted to leave and the other person wanted to stay. And it caused a lot of friction in the relationship. So to see eye to eye means you do sort of agree on a certain topic or,
Yes.
or a certain subject.
Yes, you might not see eye. You see, we see eye to eye when it comes to that decision to leave Europe because we had the same. We both wanted to stay, so you can say yes. Well, we see eye to eye on that subject.
We do.
So we agree on that, but we don't see eye to eye maybe on other areas.
Yes.
Maybe political, or it could be. Just on a decision to what picture to put up in a room.
Yes.
But yes, if you say you don't see eye to eye with somebody, it can usually that's not a phrase that you use in an aggressive way, is it? It's normally
No.
you're almost understanding each other in a way. You're saying, well, we're not going to agree on everything, but we agree. We do see eye to eye on this, but we don't see eye to eye on that.
Yes.
And that's how. Often in politics, people, at least if you keep talking, even if you don't agree with each other, as long as you can respect the other person's point of view, then you don't always have to see eye to eye on everything. In
Yes.
other words, agree. Eye to eye means agree, doesn't it?
So one of our popular arguments. So Mr. Steve likes the royal family, the British royal family, and no, wait there. We're not arguing about it now, Steve. This is an example of something. It's not the argument actually taking place. We're not doing it now. But there are things that you might not see eye to eye on. So Mr. Steve is more towards that particular thing, and I am not so towards that particular thing. And it's interesting. So I think even in relationships, if you're with a person for many years, or if you know them very well, you can still have a relationship and still disagree. And I find that part of a relationship is always very interesting. I always find that quite fascinating.
And often you can say to somebody, well, we're never going to see eye to eye on that, but, we're still friends. Because you can't always agree. Even if you've got friends or partners, you can't always agree on everything. It's impossible. So it's a nice phrase to use, isn't it? To sort of almost diffuse a potential conflict situation. You say, well, let's leave it where it is. We're never going to see eye to eye on that. But,
Wouldn't it be lovely? Wouldn't it be lovely if everyone could just agree to disagree? And I think this is a simple sentence, but I think it's also a very powerful sentence as well. So if you see eye to eye, but you don't always have to do that. You don't always have to agree on everything. I think this is the pressure that happens quite often in relationships, especially a new relationship. And it can destroy a relationship before it's even started. So I think seeing eye to eye is a very important part of life. Just understanding, even if you don't agree with that person, you can still somehow maybe meet in the middle, and maybe there is some understanding. Maybe that's what we need in the world. We need more understanding, more hugs, more love.
Not always possible, Mr. Duncan. So yes, you can use that phrase in two ways. You see eye to eye with somebody, you agree with them, or you don't see eye to eye with them, you don't agree with them on a particular subject. Talking of eyes and seeing, Tom is quite taken by your glasses.
Oh, do you like my glasses?
He likes, if you say you're taken by something, it means you like them a lot.
You are attracted.
And he wants to know what make are they?
Oh, I think they are Jeff Banks, but they're very cheap glasses. They're not actually that expensive, and they are my reading glasses. Just to show how old I am now.
I can't read what's on the side.
Yes, they're Jeff Banks. I know they are.
Sure, it doesn't look like it from here. But
I think
my eyesight is very poor close up.
I think you will find they are Jeff Banks. That's the make of the glasses. But they are my reading glasses. So I have to use these when I'm reading the live chat or looking at my big monitor that's in front of me. But thank you for your compliment on my glasses. Yes, it's very... I always think these types of glasses or spectacles, they always make you look quite intelligent. So these are sort of scientist glasses, I think.
I'm trying to see what it says on the side, but...
It is Jeff Banks. Trust me.
No, it doesn't look like it from here. But...
Jeff Banks, yes.
Oh, right, OK. It is. Mr. Duncan was right. We didn't see eye to eye there, but I was corrected.
That's not really a difference of opinion.
It's not really, no.
That's not a very good example,
but,
actually.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us today, by the way. If you just joined us, you are watching English Addict. That is Mr. Steve over there. And over here in this corner, it's me, another human being called Mr. Duncan. And I'm so glad to have you here today. We are looking at a certain subject in a moment. We are looking at suffixes. Suffix. Interesting. All of that.
The Sussexes, is this a royal thing?
It isn't the royal family. No.
Not the Sussexes.
No, it's not Sussex. It's suffix.
Suffix. Oh, I thought we were talking about the royal family.
Yes.
Never mind.
To come after or at the end of something. All of that coming in a few moments, but a lot of people have said, Mr. Duncan, can we see more of the cows? We want to see the cows. We want to see the baby cow getting excited next to Mr. Steve. So here we go.
I'm a big boy now.
I certainly am. This is English Addict on a Sunday afternoon. Hello there. Do-do-do. We are back once again. It's myself, Mr. Duncan, and also Mr. Steve as well. English Addict every Sunday. Next week, of course, as we enter December, we are leading towards that magical time of the year. Christmas time is coming. And, of course, we might also be getting some snow as well. So we will be keeping a very close eye on the weather forecast, because if there is some snow, then I'm pretty sure we will be going outside to have some fun. Maybe build a snowman, or perhaps we can throw some snowballs at each other.
Well, I've been researching and have taken the plunge. That means I've done something that can't be reversed.
Oh.
By buying some all-season tyres for my car. There's a good phrase. I've taken the plunge. It means you've done something. Maybe you were in a bit of doubt about whether you should do it. You hadn't got all the facts at your disposal, but you just decided, well, I'm going to do it anyway. You've taken the plunge. A bit like diving off the side of maybe on a diving board. You don't know what's going to happen. You're going to hit the water. Anything could happen. You've got some knowledge, but not all of it. So I've taken the plunge, and I've bought some all-season tyres because I'm out and about a lot now, and I might get stuck in some snow somewhere, and I need to be able to get home to Mr. Duncan.
Yes. So we might be getting snow, and Mr. Steve will be driving around safely with his all-season tyres.
I know, because I got stuck last year, Mr. Duncan, and I had to come. I got very nearly stuck. It was a bit dangerous. So summer tyres are not ideal when you've got snow. By the way, this is interesting. Claudia, hello Claudia. What's Claudia normally doing when we're on the live stream?
Claudia is often cooking in the kitchen.
Right, today she's sewing.
Oh, okay.
So that is a departure from what Claudia is normally doing on the live stream. So she's sewing.
I'm intrigued.
I've got some holes in my socks. Can I post them to you?
I was just asking that question. What are you sewing? Are you repairing something? Maybe something that has a hole in the bottom of it.
No, Giovanni Rivetti. No, I haven't. Yes, you can. He's made a good point here. You can buy the wheels and the tyres together, but I haven't done that. I've just purchased the tyres because that would be... It's going to be too expensive. So they're all season, so I can leave them on all year round. I don't have to change the tyres. The back ones are worn down, so I'm not wasting money there. The front ones have got a lot more life in them, but I'm going to change them anyway, and I'll keep them as spare. We
don't want Mr. Steve having any slippages or slidings on the road. We don't want anything like that. We want Mr. Steve to be safe when he's driving around.
Olga says she's often sewing as well whilst watching the live stream, but today she's fully with us, concentrating, hanging on to our every word.
Oh, Claudia is attaching labels to her father's clothing because her father is going somewhere. I won't give all the details there, but I know what you are doing there, and it is something that might take a long time to do. I remember when I went to school a long time ago, my mother used to put my name inside my clothes, a little label, and then she would put these shorts belong to Duncan, and maybe the T-shirt and the coat, especially the coat, because quite often you might put your coat down and people won't know whose coat it is, and so it'll say this coat belongs to Duncan, Mr. Duncan. He's in one of the other classes.
Yes, my mother used to sew my name onto my clothes when I went to school. By the way, Jimmy from Hong Kong it's going to be his birthday this week.
Oh,
he's going to be 1 year older by the time he comes on the live stream next Sunday.
Wow.
So happy birthday to you.
So happy birthday
this week.
When is it though? We need the exact date.
Is it Wednesday? Because you might be live on Wednesday.
If it is Wednesday, I will be live on Wednesday with you on Wednesday. So if it is live, or if it is Wednesday, I will be live on that particular day. Pretty good.
See, there we go, Giovanni. Yes, in some countries you have to fit winter tyres. Germany, I know, is one of them. Obviously, where you are is another. In the UK, there is no requirement to fit winter tyres ever. So, I mean, generally, the weather is okay here. We don't need to, but some countries, they're guaranteed snow every year. Like certain parts of France, Switzerland. I don't know if Italy does. Well, you're in Italy, though, aren't you, Giovanni? But certainly Norway. Germany, I know they have to. But there is no legal requirement here, and there just isn't. But I'm not fitting winter tyres. I'm fitting all season. So I'm hoping that will be a good compromise for me. So it means I don't have to keep swapping them.
No, I said there's nothing worse than having to keep swapping your tyres on your car. Really, when you think about it.
Satarina says, do I use snow chains? No, I have. When I've got stuck before, I've used snow socks. Snow socks, if you know what they are, if you look about, we won't go into it, but you have to put them over your tyre. They work very well to get you out of a difficult situation.
Snow chains are actually illegal in this country. You can't actually fit them because they damage the road. Now, as I understand it, snow chains, you can't use them.
You can use them, Mr. Duncan. But you're not supposed to use them on tarmac. Obviously, that's the problem because they're not illegal, but as far as I know, because you can buy them. So anyway, we're not going to see eye to eye on that, Mr. Duncan. In the north of Italy, yes, winter tyres. Exactly. There we go. Right. Anyway, we're talking about the royal family, aren't we? William and Kate, the Sussexes.
Yes.
Oh, no, the suffixes. Sorry, yeah.
Suffix. So let's have a look at today's main subject, which is the use of suffixes. But particular in this instance, some, using some as a suffix. Now, this is an interesting part of the English language, how you can take one word and turn it into something else. So you are constructing a word, a new word, by adding another word or something that appears to be a word at the end. So in this sense, we are adding the suffix some to certain words.
So what's a suffix again, Mr. Duncan?
I will tell you, Mr. Steve.
So that we know.
Because you've asked, I will tell you. A suffix.
Anyone would think we'd planned this.
Well, if you hadn't said that, we wouldn't need to say that. A suffix comes at the end of a word. So we often put the second syllable, for example. It might come at the end of a word, but you are adding that thing. So it is also referring to the fact that that particular word is being added to the word at the end. So you have prefix or prefix, and you have suffix, which comes after. So a suffix comes at the end of a word. And in this particular sense, we are using the word some as a suffix. And the reason why we do that is because we can form an adjective by doing that. So this is an interesting part of English.
A description, a word that describes something is an adjective, isn't
That's
it, Mr.
it.
Duncan? That's
the appearance of something, how it appears.
How you can describe it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's pretty good. So we can use some as a suffix. Here are some examples. First example, toothsome. So you might describe a person as being toothsome if they show a lot of teeth. If they show a lot of teeth, you can say that that person is toothsome. Maybe a person has a toothsome smile. It means when they smile, you can see all of their teeth, like this, you see? So a person who is toothsome is a person who has teeth that are very obvious. Maybe when they smile, you can describe a person with a toothsome smile. It means when they smile, you can see their teeth very clearly.
Wouldn't be a compliment, really, would it?
It's not necessarily a compliment.
You're very toothsome.
Yes, well, toothsome is just describing it. It's not necessarily being used in a bad way or a good way. So a toothsome smile can just mean the smile is very big and beaming. So you can, but maybe if you are talking about the aspect of a person's appearance, it might appear to be insulting, but this is not necessarily a bad word. So you can describe someone as having a toothsome smile.
It could, yeah.
So yes, it's in between.
We've got lots of examples coming up on the live chat, Mr. Duncan. So we better start going through your list.
I am. I can only go at a certain speed. Here's another one. Another example. Lonesome.
Oh.
You are describing a person who is alone. They are lonely, they have no friends, they have no one. They are lonesome.
On their own.
Something that is singular, something that is isolated. Maybe you go to an area where there is just one tree growing in a field. You might describe the tree as lonesome because it's alone, it's on its own. There is nothing else around it. And of course, we can describe a person who is sitting in the corner of the room looking unhappy.
You're looking lonesome. Do you want some company?
Oh,
Is it a way you could use that in a sentence?
that sounds like a chat-up line.
Sort of synonym with lonely. Well, yeah, you're looking lonely. Yeah, that looks like a lonely person, a lonesome person.
So lonesome, we are adding the suffix some to the end of the word lone. So alone, lone, on your own becomes lonesome, to be or to appear lonely. Oh, here's another one. This is a word that is often used.
I get that a lot, Mr. Duncan.
We do get this a lot when
yes.
people talk about us. They say, "Oh, have you seen those handsome men? They're handsome, very handsome. One of them is more handsome than the other."
Pardon?
Thank you, by the way, for that.
Rhubarb mentions this word, as does Saturino.
So, handsome describes a person who is attractive, good-looking. Now, I would say that this type of thing is subjective. So what is handsome? Handsome can be anything, really. A handsome man, a handsome prince. Maybe what is handsome to one person might not be to another. So we often see a person as being attractive. We used to be able to say handsome woman. It's true. I'm not joking. Not these days. So these days we don't tend to use the phrase handsome.
Usually used to describe a man, an attractive man.
Yes.
Usually probably with manly features, I would say.
Yes.
Someone who is attractive but is manly, because you can get attractive men who have a feminine look, and they could be described as pretty. You can describe a man as pretty, but if a man is handsome, then they've probably got very typical male features, but in proportions that make them look very attractive.
We often use it as well when we are talking about natural good looks. For example, I can mention two straight away. George Clooney, handsome,
manly, good looking.
Yes.
Tom Cruise.
Well, he's kind of in between. He's kind of in between because he's handsome but also pretty as well.
Yes.
But of course now I think he's the same age as you, isn't he?
I think he is, yes, exactly. Yes. We share a lot in common, same age, same sort of, aesthetic qualities. But yeah. Yeah.
I think Steve is saying that he looks like Tom Cruise. No, you look like another handsome actor, Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis is handsome. And you look a little bit like him for no apparent reason.
Handsome doesn't have to be used to describe a man. It can be used to describe objects sometimes as well, inanimate objects. If something is attractive, it's rarely used, but it can be used to describe other objects. You can have a handsome dog, for example.
Yes, horses. So you might please don't get the wrong idea about what we're saying here, but you can have a handsome horse. Yeah. What a handsome beast. What a beautiful horse, a handsome beast. So wonderful. I can see his withers from here.
Boris Karloff, Fernanda thinks that Boris Karloff was handsome. Well, yeah. I mean, this is generally... beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but there are certain, probably across most cultures, most people would say that there are certain actors that are handsome. It's sort of recognised there are certain proportions in the face that make somebody handsome. It's difficult to know what it is, but yeah, there we go.
It is sometimes subjective as well.
Yes, Sydney.
Here's another one.
We can say a beautiful man. Yeah, you can. A man can be beautiful. Usually maybe if they have sort of softer feminine features, you could say that they are beautiful. But usually you would describe a woman as beautiful if they're attractive facially, and a man as handsome. That's usually, but you could describe a man as beautiful if they have probably... Now, who would be described? I can't think of any names, but there are certain people, men, who I would certainly describe as beautiful.
Someone's already given an example. Eddie Redmayne, a very well-known actor. He's appeared in all sorts of things. I think actually at one time he did drag as well. Wasn't he dressed as a woman in one of his movies?
Yes, Jimmy's got it right.
So Eddie Redmayne, he has a soft image.
A feminine look.
So he's not really macho. He's not handsome. He's probably beautiful. So you can be beautiful. I think a man can be beautiful.
Yes.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Again, something I've often been directed at myself. Alain Delon. Alain Delon was a French actor. Yeah, handsome, exactly.
Yes.
You would categorise him right in that. He's manly, he's good looking, he's handsome.
I think he's still around, isn't he? I'm sure Alain Delon is still alive, even though I think he's getting on a little bit now.
Is King Charles handsome, says Rhubarb? Well, you would... Here we've got a difference of opinion here. We're not going to see eye to eye. Well, certainly, yes. I think you would have described him when he was younger, maybe now, as handsome. Yeah, certainly, yeah. He was good looking, manly, handsome. I would put him in that category, yes.
The problem with our royal family genes, especially on the male side, is that they're not the best of the genes, to be honest. They're not... They all have that slightly sort of that appearance, don't they?
Well, I think...
And they've all lost their hair as well.
Oh, nearly all of them, yes. Bald men are handsome, says Giovanni. Exactly, I agree.
Okay.
Yes. Mustafa says it's not a good idea to describe a man as beautiful. Well, you can do. It depends on the culture.
Yes. I think a beautiful man, I think you can be beautiful.
Usually you wouldn't.
Yes.
But there are occasions when you see somebody and, yeah.
Soft
features,
Soft features.
Maybe feminine, but almost beautiful like a woman. But you know they're a man. You can say it.
I would not describe myself as handsome. I don't think I'm handsome. I'm probably... I've been called many things.
I think that depends on the culture.
Here's another one, Steve. Quarrelsome.
Quarrelsome.
I think sometimes we can be a little quarrelsome on the live chat. So when we are talking on the live stream, sometimes we have a little argument, quarrelsome. So a person who likes to argue, a person who often disagrees with others, can be described as quarrelsome, a quarrelsome person.
There we go. You see, Rhubarb said, is King Charles handsome? He did that on purpose for us to discuss, maybe hoping that we would be quarrelsome.
Oh.
But we're in a good place today mentally, but there's going to be no arguments today.
No.
We're relaxed, we're free, we're happy. The best live stream ever, according to Mr. Duncan.
This is the best live stream ever.
The best ever.
Like this
Please
live stream.
like it.
It's the best one ever today. It's the best one ever in all of the years.
Yes, Giovanni. The King Charles's father was handsome. Yes, he was. Prince, what was his name?
Philip.
Philip, that's it. Yeah, he was handsome. Yes. He was handsome. He was tall. I mean, you've got to be tall. If you're going to be a handsome man, you've got to be tall as well. You can have a handsome face, but generally
his sisters married Nazis.
Okay,
that's a little unfortunate. By the way, if you are planning on being a public figure, please make sure that your family members are not marrying Nazis.
Maybe they didn't know the significance at the time. Who was blimey, Mr. Duncan. What's that popular spy? My brain is just. We've done an hour of this, and I'm. I can't think of his name, Mr. Duncan.
I have no idea what you're talking.
It might come to me. Let's keep going. We've talked enough about handsome men. I'm getting all excited.
James Bond.
Yes. Name me somebody who was James Bond.
Ian Lazenby.
Well, yes, he was handsome, but I'm thinking of the more popular ones. Roger Moore.
Roger Moore.
He was handsome. And who was the first James Bond?
The first one.
Scottish with a beard.
Scottish with a beard. Sean Connery.
Sean Connery. He was handsome. Yeah. I mean, I don't. I'm not saying that I'm attracted to them. I can just see objectively that they are handsome.
I never liked Sean Connery. Isn't it strange? I could never watch him in anything. I don't know why. But Roger Moore, I always liked him. He started off his career as a model. He used to model cardigans for knitting patterns. So if you are knitting clothes...
Start somewhere.
Roger Moore, that's where he started. More, we have some more, talking of Roger Moore, we have more uses of... Here's another one.
We've got some of the live chat as well. I can read some of those out.
Maybe sometimes I can describe Mr. Steve as burdensome. Burdensome. Something that causes problems or maybe drawbacks. Maybe something that is holding you back can be described as burdensome. A thing that is irritating or annoying.
Is a burden, is a heavy burden. It's something that holds you back, causes you stress, causes you work.
Yes.
Effort somewhere. A burden. If something is a burden, you could have a you could have a relation that, or friend. You could often sometimes you can describe friends as burdens or burdensome because they're a bit demanding. They're always phoning you up or asking you to help them with something.
That's it. Borrowing money off you.
Yes,
things like that.
They're a real burden. It's like you're carrying a heavy load around with you all the time, and it's sort of weighing you down.
That's why I have no friends. I just can't be bothered. Just burdensome. People keep phoning you and wanting to do things, and then they want to borrow money.
It's very unusual words you're picking out here. These aren't really everyday words.
Well, these are all using the suffix some.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yes,
okay,
that's why. I mean, if you want me to use some other words.
Do you want me to? Have you got any more examples?
Yes, I've got loads.
Worrisome.
A person or a thing that causes you worry, a worrisome thing, a worrisome topic.
Or a worrisome person.
Yes.
I'm a bit like that.
You are very much worrisome.
I am. I do worry about things that go over in my mind. I chew my nails and get stressed.
Yes, this is true.
That's because of you, because you're burdensome, Mr. Duncan.
Giovanni says, I have a word for my colleague now. He is very quarrelsome. A person who always likes to argue and cause problems by making trouble, making difficulties. They are quarrelsome. Here's another one. Oh, this is a nice one, Steve. This is where I get to show my dimples.
Winsome. Usually used to describe a woman. Winsome. Yeah, sort of shy, unassuming, would you say? Nothing like that. Winsome. It's usually used to describe a woman. Sort of somebody who would be very gentle,
timid,
introspective, shy, maybe. It's a certain look. Not usually used to describe a man, although in Mr. Duncan's case,
yes. In my case, it's perfect.
Be applicable. Italians and Argentines are quarrelsome, says Fernando.
Yes.
Yes. Well, when we met,
you can never tell when you hear Italians talking to each other. Even normally, it always sounds like they're arguing.
Yes.
It's a bit like in China. Chinese people as well. Sometimes when you hear Chinese people talking, you can't tell if they're arguing or just having a conversation because they tend to get very passionate when they're talking.
I do. I mean, when we met Beatrice, she was a nightmare, wasn't she?
She was always...
Oh, it was an absolute nightmare.
We got through. We were thrown out of two... we were thrown out of 2 cafes because of Beatrice starting trouble.
Arguing with everyone.
She was throwing chairs and causing all sorts of chaos.
Yes, these menus are dirty. The floors. Yeah, she was arguing with everyone. No, we're joking, Beatrice. I think Beatrice had probably fallen asleep because of her late night at the wedding.
Beatrice is now sleeping off her boozy night at the wedding reception. Maybe.
Oh, Vitas says, going back to handsome men, which has caused a lot of comment in the live chat.
Oh.
According to online magazine Nubia, the Chinese actor and singer, you would be able to pronounce that,
Zhao Zhan,
was the most handsome man in 2022.
Wow.
So we'll have to look him up, and we'll give you our opinion.
I was going to say something then, but it would have got me into a lot of trouble.
Right, okay, let's carry on. We're going over time, by the way. You're getting a bonus today.
Oh, no, it's okay. So we'll finish about 5:30, don't worry.
I'm hungry, Mr. Duncan. I made some bread today and I can smell it.
Talking of words that people use to describe us, here is another one. Awesome. They say, Mr. Steve and Mr. Duncan, you are awesome.
We've had that in the live chat, thank you.
So when we talk about awe,
and Jimmy,
when we talk about awe, we are talking about being impressed or amazed by something. So a person who is awesome is a person who is outstanding, amazing. They stand out from the crowd. Maybe they do something very well. Maybe they do it professionally and with a lot of expertise.
Yes, they do something that impresses people and you think to yourself, I couldn't do that myself. You're awesome. You're absolutely awesome. The way that you presented at that meeting today, I couldn't do that. You were awesome. Your performance last night was awesome. No doubt we will get lots of comments in the live chat about our performance today being awesome. I mean, we get that. We're used to it.
It's either awesome or awful.
Yes.
It's one of those two.
Yeah. So, but we're joking, of course. But yes, something is awesome. That car is awesome. It can be described objects, people. You can use that word in lots of ways, and I'm sure you know.
Something awesome is amazing. It is outstanding. We can also use the suffix some when we are talking about numbers as well as a number. So you can have a twosome. We are expressing the fact that there are only 2 people or 2 things together. So maybe you're having a meeting or a party or a get-together and it's very small and private. You have a twosome. Who will be there? Oh, it'll be just myself and you. Oh, we're having a twosome. You are together, but there's only 2 of you.
Yes.
Then, of course...
We're going up, aren't we, Mr. Duncan?
Don't say anything, by the way. I know someone out there is going to say something. You can also have a foursome as well. Foursome.
Or a threesome.
You can have a threesome, yes.
You can have a twosome, a threesome, a foursome.
Yes.
You don't normally say fivesome. It stops at 4 with the sum. But usually the problem with using the words threesome and foursome is that they're often...
Yes, let's not do that, Steve.
Well, I'm just going to explain. We've got to explain it because we don't want people using this word and then they get into trouble.
So if you have a threesome, it's quite often seen as something where another person is joining you for a certain type of activity. So it doesn't have to be anything rude, but it could be an event or maybe if you're going for a walk and you bring your other friend with you, you go for a threesome.
Yeah, but Mr. Duncan, in the UK,
But it can, yes. Well,
In the
UK,
UK.
I've just said yes. It can be used to mean other things.
if you said,
Naughty things.
let's
Yes.
have a threesome.
Yes, I've just said
I know. Well,
I
I'm
think-
just saying it usually implies
yes. Yes,
three
that-
people are
yes. All right.
getting together
Okay, Steve.
in
Steve.
a sexual way.
See,
That's what you and foursome
Yeah.
means. You don't normally use those.
yes, okay. Well,
Things
there you
because
go. There's
people
my
will,
ad revenue for the week gone.
Oh, that's not going to happen, Mr. Duncan.
Trust
it might
me.
go up.
Trust me. It's gone. It's over. So as a number, you can have foursome, you can have threesome, and you can have...
Will you stop saying? Just saying those words, Mr. Duncan, is
Twosome.
going to get you.
No, this is fine. This is all innocent. This is innocent stuff. So as a number. So that's what we were looking at today. We were looking at the suffix that can be used to create adjectives.
Right. Can I mention some other examples that have come up in the live chat?
Of course you can, Mr. Steve.
Saturino came up with wholesome.
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 Yes.
What a wholesome person you are. A person with very high morals. A wholesome person. Or it could be wholesome food. Food that is natural, got all the fibre in it. Wholesome food, unprocessed food.
Yes.
What a wholesome meal. It might be something, I don't know, something with vegetables in it, a little bit of meat, or it could be lentils. Wholesome food is usually thought of as health food, like lentils, vegetables, that sort of thing.
So it would be good if you are a person and you are described as wholesome.
Yes.
It means you are good, honourable, you have good morals, you are a person who can be trusted and relied on for all sorts of things.
That's it.
You are.
We've had handsome. Jimmy from Hong Kong says gruesome.
Ooh.
Gruesome.
Gruesome.
Oh, yes, gruesome. Something that is gruesome.
Yeah.
Yes, it means that's something that's maybe there's blood and gore.
Well, it just means something horrific.
Something horrific, a gruesome accident, a horrible accident.
Just something that is unpleasant to look at. Gruesome.
Oh, that new person at the office, they're gruesome.
Oh no, you don't. You don't describe a person as gruesome.
Well, you can do, but that would be an insult. Yes. But usually gruesome is used to describe. Maybe you've got sort of blood and gut showing, maybe.
Oh, yes, that's
I'm just saying gruesome is usually something, a gruesome film. It'll be a horror film with mutilated bodies and all sorts of things like that. A gruesome accident, limbs missing, that sort of thing.
Maybe if your friend has some gossip about another person, you might say to them, "Come on then, tell me all the gruesome details."
Yes, there's a good one, Mr.
It doesn't
Duncan.
necessarily have to be horrific. It doesn't have to be horrible, but it might be just all of the interesting details. Give me all the gruesome details.
Yes.
It means I want to know everything that's happened. Oh, come on,
Yes.
tell me. I want to know, please.
Yes, so it doesn't have to necessarily mean, death and things like that. It can be, sort of a messy weekend with somebody.
Visually. It's a visual word.
Yes.
It's describing something you see or experienced. I think we're coming towards the end of today's live stream. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Don't forget to give us a lovely like. You can already see outside.
Here we go.
It is getting dark outside very early. As winter approaches, it is getting dark at normally around about 3:15. So by the time we get to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, at this time of year, it is completely dark, as you can see behind.
Some good use of our suffixes. Fernando says New Zealand is an awesome country. Yes, there's a good example to describe a country as awesome. It's got mountains. It's got lovely lakes. Maybe it's just an awesome country to visit. It's got lots to see, lots of big sights and things like that. The Grand Canyon is awesome. Something of spectacular nature.
To be stunned by something. You see, that is awesome. Amazing.
Giovanni says, if I went for a simple walk with two other friends, can I say, let's go for a nice threesome with friends? Can I say it?
You can. I think most people realise the context of a suggestion. So I'm pretty sure if you said that in general conversation, it will be all right. But we know when something is being suggested that might be something else. So that would be my advice. But generally speaking, it is normally avoided to a certain degree
because it's got connotations.
That's it. Anyway,
Anyway,
you already explained that, Steve. Please give me a like if you like this. If you like him, give him a like. If you like me, give me a lovely like as well, and we will be very happy. We are going in a moment. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. We have talked about a lot of things.
We have. We've packed it in today. Was it the best live stream ever?
Was it the best live stream ever? That I suppose is the real question.
You are the judges.
Yes, I suppose so. Yes. So what do you think?
That's it, Giovanni.
Was it the best one ever? Or was it the worst one ever? Maybe it was the worst ever.
Yes. Was it awesome?
I hope it wasn't the worst ever. I would be really upset if that was the case.
Well, I look forward to seeing you all next week. I will be here. I don't think I'm going anywhere, so I'll be with Mr. Duncan live on a Sunday for whatever this is.
So it might be a little bit different next Sunday as well. I'm not saying anything else, but it might be a little bit different. You can see now it's so dark behind us.
I know.
And that is real. That's happening now.
Back's aching.
Night time has arrived. Thank you for watching. See you soon. I will be back with you on Wednesday from 2 p.m. UK time. Mr. Steve back with us next Sunday at the same time, 2 p.m. Take care of yourselves. This will be repeated as many times as you want on YouTube. There will be lovely captions coming later as well. You have to be patient because YouTube takes quite a while now to generate the lovely captions. And of course, until the next time we meet, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Enjoy the last few days of November if I don't see you before next weekend. Have a super duper week. And of course, are you ready?
Always.
You might notice this week Mr. Steve is wearing his ring. He has remembered. Well done, by the way. And of course, you know what's coming next. Ta-ta for now. See you on Wednesday.